Hello everyone, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. This is your host Vaibhav. In today's session of Daily Stock, we are going to consider the quarterly earnings of the beverage giant PepsiCo. The PepsiCo's quarterly earnings were released last month, and since then, the stock has stabilized and tried to regain some of the last ground if we consider the price movements of the PepsiCo shares for the larger part of this year. They have been stagnant, as is its sales number, and if we look at the price moves in the recent weeks, we are seeing slight buying momentum on the lower side, but we still need to be careful and watch out for the larger picture. And for that, we can gather information from the quarterly earnings report, where we have some key data points which are going to be the guiding factor as we have to make the decisions to trade and invest in the PepsiCo's shares. Let us head to the quarterly earnings report, which is publicly available on the investors relation page of the PepsiCo. This is the third quarter 2023 report, and the key highlight of the result is that the revenues for the company have grown in double digits, with its EPS rising more than 10 percentage point. I think somewhere close to 13%. I'm not being precise here, and its total revenues are also up significantly. But then the question arises, why I am saying that the PepsiCo sales have been stagnant? Because even though there is increase in the revenue, and also it's substantial given that it is in double digits, the concern here is that this is not really as sustainable as it looks, because the volumes are not going up. The volumes have actually declined, though that is not statistically significant, but still decline is a decline, and it points to the larger theme of the PepsiCo's sales number in recent years, and that is of stagnation. But we also have to see that the macroeconomic outlook has been challenging for a while, with high inflationary pressures persisting in the economy. The company has, to some extent, done well, as it has raised its prices across the board, most of its products, and even if we look at the product offerings segment wise, both geographically and product wise, we have these higher revenues, mainly driven by increase in the sales price. But as the volume stagnant, as the total sales numbers stagnant, we will have to see how much it is going to be sustainable moving forward. So that's where the concern is, and that has also reflected in the share price moves of the PepsiCo, which are trading lower for the year to date. If we consider these revenue growth in a comparative term, we will get to understand how things stand for the company. In a company's own commentary on the current scenario, it has stressed on the increase in EPS of 13%, and for the full year, the revenue increase is likely to be around 10%. The company's management has been aware of the challenges. It has tried to take some steps, and it is still an ongoing process where it has tried to mitigate the impact of recent inflationary pressures in the economy as a whole. We have seen higher inflation in most of the countries around the world in last year, and that has also prompted the company to raise its prices for the product offering. And this is the summary of the third quarter 2023 performance. And here, this is the key figure that there is decline in the total volumes for the PepsiCo by 1.5%. And even though there is this decline in the volume, with the help of increase in the sales price, the company has been able to increase its revenue by 9%. And this is for year to date, where it has lost 2% in volume terms, though there are gains of 12 percentage point overall with the help of higher revenues on account of higher prices. The EPS is also higher, but we do need to watch out for how the economy evolves over next couple of quarters, and only if there is some correction in the PepsiCo share price from the current level, and but that should not be of one-sided moves. It should stagnate. Its price moves also need to be stagnant and move in a narrow range. And as the stabilization comes in with the price moves of the PepsiCo, we can then think about initiating the new investment decisions. The company has provided the forward guidance of 10% growth in the revenue. These were the key highlights of its quarterly report. If we consider the segmental information, there is a substantial increase in its revenue from the North American market, the Frito-Lay division, as well as Quaker Foods have been showing healthy growth. The PepsiCo vertical has also grown substantially from the revenue of 6.6 billion. Now it is bringing in 7.1 billion US dollars. With these higher prices, its EPS has also shot up. Here is these EPS numbers. Now let us look at the price moves of the PepsiCo's shares in recent past. In today's session, It hasn't really moved much. The range has been quite narrow. From the short-term perspective, there is this breakout of sort in the price moves after this long consolidation of last couple of weeks. We finally have the PepsiCo trading above these prior swing high levels of 165, and with this new swing high in place, we can expect it to continue to consolidate at these levels or move higher, but on the lower side we are likely to see the support coming into play around the price levels of US dollar 162, and currently it is trading around 167. So that is the key price area to watch out for. And if you get an opportunity to buy the PepsiCo shares in a couple of sessions ahead, you can take your bet, and on the lower side it should hold, and for that the price move of 162 is going to be important. See how things react, how the price stabilizes, if it indeed continue to move lower from the current level, and if you get an opportunity to get involved in the market with the PepsiCo shares, you can think on it depending on how things are evolving at that point in time. With these lower price moves possibly capped around the prior swing highs, we can expect it to bounce back and in the course of time try to break past this prior swing high of US dollar 162.7. But that was for short term. From the medium term to longer term perspective, things are not that rosy. We have seen the price moves of PepsiCo for this year, and it is trading lower. It is in negative territory for the year, and much of that decline has come in the last couple of months only. Now, this month, after having seen it find support around 160 level, we can expect it to hold the ground and try to move higher, but that is more likely to be a retracement than any trend change at this juncture. So we will have to think about it whenever you are making a decision to invest or not in the price in the shares of PepsiCo. Given the momentum being negative, given the momentum being bearish, we will need to be careful, and maybe we will need to wait till things get better for the company, and it whenever it gathers momentum, we can of course give it a shot and get involved for this ride on the higher side. But the time I feel is yet to come, so we will have to remain content with how things stand, which are looking bearish for the PepsiCo's shares. From the longer term, the things are not really very different, and we can expect it to bounce a little from the current levels, but the momentum has now shifted to slightly bearish. It is no longer having the prior upward momentum. So we will have to be careful and think about making new investment decisions, keeping this point in mind. So that's all from my side for today's session, where we consider the fundamental as well as technical aspects of the PepsiCo's shares, we consider its quarterly earnings report with all the publicly available financial information, and there some concerns are emerging, and it will be interesting to see how the company's management try to address these concerns and then put the PepsiCo again on track of higher revenues with the help of higher volumes. So that's all from my side for today's session. If you have any query or any idea to share, do write to me in the feedback and I will be more than happy to take the discussion forward. See you next time around with a new company's business prospects to talk about. I will be back tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Thank you all for joining in. Goodbye.